niche fragrances you must have in your collection. So these niche fragrances I've picked they're very different from each other. They're kind of, each one is good for a particular scenario, a certain outing, but in general, they're all really good, reliable fragrances. And as always, everything I mentioned will be available in the Amazon associate links down in the description below. I'm going to start with one of the more well-known niche options, which is Layton from Parfum de Mali. This is good if you like spicy, sweet fragrances. It is very strong, really good for cold weather, kind of wintry sort of stuff, because it is a pretty warm fragrance. It blends the warmth of the spices like coriander with the sweetness that it has, and also some citrus notes, to create this really nice, just well-liked, well-balanced men's fragrance. The longevity on this is at least 7 hours, but it's more like 8 or 9. It really does stick around. And being from Parfum de Mali, you could expect something that smells very luxurious, very top shelf, very sophisticated. Really best for more special occasion sort of stuff, but it is versatile enough to be worn, in just about any occasion you want. But again, because it is so warm, it's not great for hot weather, at least not very, very hot weather. Warm weather is fine, but as a whole, this is very versatile. It smells really good. Some people are a little bit put off by the sweetness that it has, but as long as you can expect that sweetness and you like a little bit of sweetness, then this should be well liked. But moving on from this, another one that has a little bit of sweetness as well, maybe not as much as Layton, is Mancera Red Tobacco. So this is actually a unisex fragrance, but whatever. It's a blend of vanilla and tobacco. The vanilla is almost as strong as the tobacco note itself, and the vanilla is the one that gives it kind of its characteristic sweet note. But again, I wouldn't say it's any sweeter than Layton. So it also has a certain warmth that you can expect from the tobacco note as well. This is a very, very attractive scent, but it is extremely strong. You do not want to put on too much by accident, because you're going to give yourself a headache, you're going to give other people a headache. It is a huge projector. It's going to go across the room. It's going to leave a really prominent scent trail. You're just going to be wafting this out of every pore if you put too much of this on. So really, just a few sprays of this and you're good to go. And again, it is a very attractive scent with that, kind of similar to the Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, the blend of the vanilla and the tobacco. Just with a little twist on it, but definitely a very attractive option here, as long as you don't put on too much. Now this one is also unisex. I think this is Joe Malone Peony and Blush Suede. I believe all Joe Malone fragrances are unisex. But I would say this is more of like a true unisex, it doesn't really go any which way. This is nice if you're willing to experiment with some florals. The Peony obviously is the main one here. There's also some a red apple opening, which is a nice crisp, fresh note. But I think personally the most attractive note is the suede, because when you first put this on, it is you get that sweetness of the florals. It's relatively light, but then the suede kind of swoops in out of nowhere and gives it this smoldering, rugged, just warm and toasty sort of smell. And that is a really good contrast between the lighter notes like the red apple and the peony. And the suede note, it is the strongest note out of the whole fragrance, and it is the note that lasts the longest. This is a lighter fragrance as a whole, but it's because of the suede, it's going to last probably about 5 hours, maybe even 6. But it's more of a moderate fragrance, and it's definitely a good option if you want to, really stand apart from the crowd, because, there's not too many people that go straight to this particular Joe Malone fragrance. They're going to try other things before they get to this one. So if you go automatically to this one, then you kind of have the edge, you know, you already smell more unique than everybody else. But this is really nice if you know, like that contrast between kind of leather and a little bit of florals. Then, another one that is another unisex option, this is Gentle Fluidity. This is super fresh. If you want to go for something that is cold, crisp, but natural and not synthetic smelling, this is a good option. Which is important because a lot of fragrances that are really fresh and really cold, they tend to smell a little bit synthetic, but this does not. It maintains its natural scent. The main core note, I would say, is juniper berries, which in themselves are very fresh. They're kind of like the smell of pine needles, but even fresher. So this is definitely a really good option if you want that, if you're going for something specifically fresh. Very good for hot weather. It's going to cut through any kind of hot weather very easily. Now it is a relatively light option, so it's not going to last too long. Maybe about 4 hours, maybe 5 if you're lucky, but of course you can always reapply it if you have to. But as a whole, this is really, really nice if you're looking for something very fresh. Then the last one that I have, if you're looking for something the opposite of fresh, you want something very heavy and rich, then I would say Initio Paragon. This is very strong. This is primarily an oud fragrance, but it also has some other important wood notes, like it has Palo Santo, it has some sandalwood, it has some black pepper, some fruit notes, but this is really primarily the oud and the black pepper. Those are kind of the strongest notes that you get. And it is unisex, leaning more on the masculine side. This is definitely, if you like oud, you're gonna really, really enjoy this because it is a very smooth and well-balanced oud. It's not like too in your face or too obnoxious of an oud note. And again, I think mixed with the black pepper and kind of the citrus notes that it has, it is very attractive and pretty versatile. You could, you know, sometimes oud fragrances are too intense to wear anytime but the evening. But this is smooth enough that you could pretty much wear this almost any time. Daytime, nighttime, most of the year, you know, so definitely a more versatile oud option. And again, very long lasting. It's gonna last most of the day, probably about 7 to 8 hours, so definitely a long time. But, you know, a good option if you're looking for just a more toned down oud. But that is pretty much my list here for these types of niche fragrances. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, you can always leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos like these throughout the week, so stick around for those.